Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be experimenting with the watercolor method for the first time, and I'm going to show you guys how I achieve this beautiful navy blueberry color. So if you are interested, please stay tuned. Alright, so this video is brought to you by Annabelle. They were kind enough to send me 3 bundles of their straight 613 hair, as well as a 16-inch 613 frontal. Alright, so I wanted a dark root on my wig. I didn't want a straight blue wig, so I still had to add my own roots with my wig. So I used the color that matches black hair, and I used the color that matches like medium brown hair. You can use any of the brown shades or black shades that you want for your roots. It just depends on what you want. I do this a lot with like my colored wigs just because I feel like it looks a bit more natural when you have a dark root, but do what you want. And I feel like this is actually still very convenient to do, to add your dark roots. I don't think there's like a way to do the watercolor method and still have, you know, dark roots. I don't know if you can do that, but yeah, so I just used the applicator, the little brush, and just went through each section of the frontal and added a dark root. And it was just pretty easy to do, so I would suggest this if you guys still want a dark root on your wig. And to make this wig, I used the hot glue gun method. I sewed the closure or the frontal onto a spandex dome cap, and then I just hot glued the tracks onto the spandex dome cap. So as soon as I was done with rooting the entire wig, I immediately washed it out. It doesn't take long to add your roots and for it to start developing. And then I let the wig air dry overnight. Okay, so the next day I started with the watercolor method. This was my first time, so I was a little bit scared. Instead of using like, you know, boiling water in a pot and stuff, I used a Sterilite plastic container. And I picked up some hair dye from my local beauty supply store, and it was the brand was Via, and the color was Mood Indigo. And as you guys can see, I was very like timid starting out. I bought 4 bottles of this dye, and I just like slowly started to add the dye, but I wanted my color to be very saturated and rich, not like a pastel color. So I would suggest that you guys, if you want a very rich color, then go ahead and put all 4 of your bottles of dye in your container or whatever you're using. And I decided not to boil mine like on the stove because the water from my, you know, kitchen sink gets very, very hot. So this was perfectly fine. So I also use a whisk to mix up my color in the container. So I just put the whole wig inside of the Sterilite container to start off with, and then right away I noticed that the wig was actually still too light, so I started to pour more and more of the dye in the container. As you can see, it was like a light blue color, and that's not what I wanted. So I just got a bit more confidence and started to pour more and more of the dye, and I did use all 4 of the bottles, and I even like poured hot water in each container to get as much dye out as I could. And it actually turned out pretty good, but I feel like if I was not as timid as I was to begin with, I would have poured it in right away. And certain parts of the wig, like the inner parts in the back, are lighter than the overall color, but I don't think it looks bad. I feel like it looks like it has more variation, and it's not just like one color. So yeah, so I let the wig soak in the mixture for about 10 to 15 minutes, and that's how the color turned out. It was very, very saturated and very rich. So I will say that's the cool thing about 613 hair. Like, the color that you see with the water is how the hair is going to turn out. So if you want more pastel, use less dye, obviously. And yeah, that's what the color turned out. And I'm just going to show you guys how I curled it. The first day that I curled this wig, it was so freaking gorgeous. The curls were so voluminous. I used, I think, a 1.5 inch curl wand barrel, and I pinned the curls because I wasn't going to put the wig on right away. I curled all of the curls away from the face, and the curls that were at the top of my head, and it just had so much volume to be straight hair. So this hair obviously holds a very good curl. All right, so it's the next day, and I'm ready to apply this wig to my head. I did the ball cap method, and I have not perfected it, so I don't like it. I feel like it's very inconvenient, especially if you're somebody that's not going to wear your wig for, you know, a week or more than that. So I'm probably not going to be using the ball cap method that often. But anyway, so I cut the lace off, and I applied this wig using the Got To Be Glued spray as well as the Got To Be Glued gel in the black bottle, and that was fine. My issue was, because this is a 613 frontal, you can't bleach the knots. I mean, the knots are already blonde, so people don't bleach their knots, and the lace is really light, so the lace was looking a little bit ashy, like even with powder and even with the Sally Hansen spray tan that I use. So I'm gonna have to start tinting my lace, especially with wigs that start off with 613 color. And yeah, because it was just like a white cast. Even though the wig itself looked very beautiful, I just don't like how that happens. So I recently bought some lace tint because I saw Rhythm and Beauty post about it, and it looked very interesting. It's still on the way, so I'm going to show you guys that in a future video, so look out for that. Overall, I feel like the watercolor method is very, very convenient, especially if you're just wanting to dye your wig one solid color. But I feel like if you want more complex colors, like with several colors involved, you're gonna have to have multiple containers if you're doing the watercolor method, obviously. But I feel like it would just be more convenient to do the traditional route of dyeing your wigs. Yeah, but it's up to you. Now, I used the hot glue gun method before I used the watercolor method, so I had to submerge the entire wig in water, hot water. So glue and hot water don't really mix, so I was kind of scared that a lot of my tracks are going to come up, but actually only like a little bit of tracks came up, like 2 tracks, and it wasn't a whole track, it was just like a little corner of it. So when the wig was completely dry, I glued it back down and it was fine. So I love how the curls looked this particular day. It was so like voluminous and like pageant curls. But the next day I tweezed the hairline some more, and you can see like the curls are a little bit more like relaxed, but I still think it looks pretty that way as well, but I do prefer the more voluminous look. So if you are interested in this hair, check it out on Annabelle. I want to thank them for sending me this hair to review for you guys. So far I haven't had any issues with the hair, obviously because I haven't worn this wig a lot. Make sure you are subscribed and make sure your notifications are turned on so you will be notified every time that I do another upload. And if you have any other questions about this hair that I didn't answer in this video, feel free to leave a comment below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.